Hey YouTube, what's up? My name is Jonathan. I'm one of the co-hosts of this podcast. I just wanted to preface this episode and say thank you for checking it out. I hope you guys enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, and to share it with your friends. Also, check us out on Instagram at Talk Progression. Also, there's a link in the bio if you just want to listen to the audio version of this podcast. That's available as well. Also, just wanted to give you guys a heads up that the intro is static. We're still working on getting an animated version of that, but the rest of the podcast has video. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and thanks for checking us out. We'll see you around. Hello, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sam.
And this is Progression in Progress. All right, welcome back to another episode of Progression in Progress. We are here, we are doing it, the show where we progress in real time. Sam, how's it going?
I'm doing awesome. How about you?
Good. We're going to hit you with an incredibly short episode today. Sam's on the grind, the hardcore grind, so we do not have a lot of time today, but we just wanted to hit you with a very quick episode. And let me walk you through what I'm thinking. Sam doesn't even know the idea really that much yet, so we're going to be experiencing this all together. So let me walk you through the idea. Let me walk you through the story that kind of prompted this idea for this week's episode. So I've been working on a case competition project. So, they've got the finance club here at school, and then they have a bunch of different sub clubs. It's actually quite intense. There's a lot of different clubs. There's like 8 different clubs or something crazy like that. And they all got events going on all week, and you get to pick and choose, what you participate in. And this week, these last 2 weeks, last week and then this coming week, I've decided to participate in a case competition where this business came to us and they're like, okay, here's this problem, or here's it, not a problem, but here's just this idea, this question we have. Now you guys go figure it out, right? And there's some prize money involved, and I guess it makes sense from a business. It's just like a win-win-win, we get some real life experience and maybe some prize money if you win, and the business just gets a bunch of free people doing a bunch of research for them, and they get to just be like, okay, your idea sucks, your idea is good, your idea sucks, right? And then they don't have to pay for it, except they have to pay for the prize money, I guess. But okay, yeah. So the case competition, working with a group, I don't know this group beforehand, and if by the odd chance that any one of my group members, hears this, I got nothing against anyone. I actually have really enjoyed working with everyone in the group. But this is just kind of talking about groups in general spurred by this interaction, okay? Mm-hmm. So is everything making sense so far?
Yeah, I got it.
I haven't even really gotten to the meat of it, right? I guess in my case, the seitan, the fake meat. Have you heard of that, seitan?
No.
Oh, it's a type of fake meat. But
sounds nasty.
Yeah, we just call it Satan in my house, but it's like it's seitan or something like that. It's weird. Yeah. It's like made out of wheat. Okay. But it's so the working with this group, and I feel like this weird vibe that you get with group projects, especially when it's people you don't know very well, or maybe even people you do know very well, but you're not super close with. Right. So the whole, this like weird vibe where it's like, okay, I know maybe this is just me, but I'm sure this happens with a lot of people too, where it's like, okay, I have an idea of exactly what we should do. I think this is what we should do. This is the direction I want to take it. And then other people have slightly varying ideas, right? But I think that's fine. That's a good thing that people have slightly varying ideas. But where this weird thing happens, in my opinion, is that no one, not always, but a lot of times, no one is willing to put their foot down or force the good ideas to come to the surface and the bad ideas, get thrown out, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like sometimes people will kind of like have their ideas that maybe aren't so good, but they still but the better ideas don't rise because of like group dynamics kind of a thing.
Well, yeah, I think it's everyone, at least maybe this is like, I guess there's not any money to lose there's money to gain, right, in this situation, because it's, there's some prize money. Right. But like, there's not any. And this is part of the idea. This is part of the idea that I wanted to connect it into later, but I might as well bring it up now and just kind of introduce it, and we can talk about it later. But there's nothing at stake really. Right. Or at least the stakes aren't incredibly high. The pressure isn't there. Maybe for some groups who are like super intense about this, but I'm really just in it for the experience, right? For sophomores are still underclassmen, right? I'm still an underclassman. I'm not even in the finance program yet. Right. So I'm just here for the experience. So there's not that pressure to be that killer instinct right? To
Right.
be like, okay, I'm not going to tolerate any of the bad ideas. So that's kind of the idea, is that I guess a lot of people are too polite, including myself, right? I'm kind of weird in between, where it's like, okay, I will talk the entire time and I will give you all my ideas and I will tell you what I think we should be doing. But then when it comes down to put my foot down, I'm not maybe the best when it comes to putting my foot down. I don't know. Sam might feel the opposite, but you know, like I'm not going to be like, no, your idea sucks. You know, like
Right. Yeah.
that's intense. You know,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So so that's kind of where I'm at right now, where it's like, okay, people, you get this vibe with this group dynamic where it's like you don't want to be incredibly assertive, but you know, in my case, I'll be slightly assertive, but then you run into this problem where you don't get the best ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if my idea sucks, I want you to tell me why my idea sucks and why we shouldn't do it. If my idea is the one, let's go with my idea. If your idea is the best, tell me why your idea is the best and why we should go with it. Right. We're missing that like proof step. Everyone's just like, okay, this is what I think, you know, and then everyone's like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. You know, not a terrible idea. And then we get rid of the really bad ideas. Right. Oh, and I was planning this thing with some other people, right? We were assigned to plan this thing and it was totally that. And I'm sitting there and it's just kind of like, really, these are the ideas, but it's like, I'm not like, okay, this is dumb. That's dumb. That's dumb. Next idea. Right. Cause I don't know, maybe we're just too kind. So I don't know. What are you thinking? I've been ranting for 5 minutes now. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I just kind of think back to all the group projects and stuff I've kind of done, and it usually does go one or two ways. It's like, one, there's just someone, at least this happened more in high school probably, or in elementary, like there'd always be the one person that each group would have where like pretty much the other people would be like kind of designate them as like, okay, you're like the smartest person in the group or something, so your idea, whatever you say goes. And then there'd be other times where basically the first, I think, I don't remember where I've heard it, but I think they've like studied some kind of like group dynamics, and they find that usually the person that like speaks first in the group just kind of ends up being the leader, and
they dominate.
Yeah, they dominate it. And so there's also situations like that where, you know, the first person to either speak or just kind of has an idea, people just kind of go with it. And maybe it's not the best examples because, you know, those were all kind of things where I feel like most people didn't really care. But I think that it was always missing that kind of discourse to like find out like, okay, let's hear everyone's ideas, you know, if everyone has some, and then let's actually like go down like and actually pick out either, you know, the best idea or just like even like, you know, combine ideas to make something even better. It was always just kind of like, we'll pick whatever, you know, whatever happens. Like there never really any kind of really discussion about it that much.
Yeah. No, it's like a weird, it's like a weird vibe. Like that real tough conversation doesn't happen. And I understand. I fall prey to that too, right? I don't want to be like, okay, that idea sucks, right? You don't want to do that.
No.
And who knows, maybe it's your idea that sucks and no one's telling you that. Everyone's just like pointing fingers in their mind, like, okay, your idea sucks, my idea is the best. And everyone else is thinking that exact same thing, right?
But then everyone's also at the same time possibly getting on the defensive because they think their idea is the best.
Yeah. But the thing is, and it shouldn't be like that though. We should really, if you're on the same team, it should really be the team winning, not the best idea. Right. Yeah, and now that's a very difficult thing that's very easy to say, but not in a very difficult thing to put in practice. Yep. Everyone is at least internally defensive. It's very hard to not be defensive.
Well, it's like, I think what it is that, you know, even if the whole team is out to accomplish something, people still want that like individual like attention, or like, we did this as a team, but this was my idea. Like I came up with it, you know, and that just is to the downfall of everyone.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I'm a big believer in the individual, but also you can see the benefit, right? The benefit of the teamwork, right? So it's like, you got to like orient your goals, or not your goals, you orient your objective. And that's tough. It's an easy thing. And that could be its whole episode in itself, you know, we could talk about. It's like, I mean, sorry to make a video game reference, but someone's got to play the support hero, right? It's not the most glamorous. It's not the most fun, but someone's got to do it, and you're going to lose if you don't, you know, and going back to, I guess, I mean, we talked about this, in episode 5, back when I used to play Overwatch, like way back in the day, in high school, you know, like junior year, like 3, 4, 5 years ago, you know, I got very good at playing support and we won a lot because of that, you know? So it's like, it works, I guess. Right. I don't know, but that's off on a tangent that we really don't need to go get into. But another thing that I really like that you said is that you mentioned something like people really don't care, right? Especially with these projects, these low level projects, not low level. What's the word? Just low stakes, I guess, projects.
Low stakes. Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that I put that on I don't know if you saw that on my notes or whatever, but I put that there because that's another thing I've been feeling recently with this project and with other things. So for example, with this project I'm working on, you know, it's, if you really want to do a good job, you got to present some research, you got to present something a little, right? Because these guys, even though I'm not making the business decision for their company, this is a gigantic company and they're taking our advice and they're not going to take it if we pull it out of our butt crack, you know, we got to back it up with something. And we actually, for this thing, we did a survey, and I got Sam to do the survey and I used his response. And I had to show it to one of the company people and that was funny. Cause Sam was pretty mean about it, but the idea is like, we don't care, or not we, sorry. Just like a lot of times when it comes to these things, we don't care. And that's something I've been feeling lately too. And I think, well, I guess just to give one more example, the perfect example of this is like an essay at school. And by that, I mean, so you have to write an essay. Sometimes, you know, in high school, maybe you just got to back it up with a news article here or there, right? Mm-hmm. Or in college, maybe you got to do a little bit of research here and there. And unless you're doing like real research papers, it's not that intense yet. But still, even in these low level, low stakes situations, people, it's like, I do it too. It's like, I don't care enough to like dedicate to make this as correct as possible. I just want to find something. Excuse me. I just want to find something. I want to write my essay and I want to be done. Right. You know, and it's very difficult to be like, okay, no, my idea actually does suck. And I don't really have credible evidence here, or the most credible. Maybe it's slightly credible, but I don't have the most credible evidence, you know? Yeah. So, and I think that's another problem too. I don't know. I don't know what the point I'm trying to make here. It's just, this is just what's been on my mind this week. Yeah.
No, I think at the end of the day, like, I guess it all depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it, but you just need to be able to sort out either, and I think for any of these situations, probably an external opinion or just another person's opinion probably is valuable to think about what you're going to do, what you're going to do it on. And I guess how much you care kind of is also a part of it, because I wouldn't really, if it's not that big of a deal either way, then I mean, it depends on what it is. Like, I would say your project, even though it's like not high stakes necessarily, is still kind of a big deal in a way.
Sure, yeah.
But for something that isn't really worth putting too much effort into, then maybe you shouldn't. But yeah, then picking out all the ideas, either sourced among other people or even in your own head, just running it by people, and then I think you kind of have to ask them directly to be like, hey, like, this is what I've done. Like, don't just like give me like positive feedback, because if you just tell me it's so good, then I'll just like think I'm doing good, and we'll just keep kind of doing that, even if there are things I could change or make better. So maybe like putting that out there, like, hey, like, tell me what's wrong with this, or like, you know, like, obviously we do want some positive feedback just so we don't feel bad all the time for every aspect of what we're doing. But like, I think it is valuable to actually, you know, kind of ask for negative feedback as well, just so it, like, you know, you can improve and progress and get better at whatever it is you're doing, or whatever project you're doing.
Well, that's a really nice way to tie it into the whole progression and progress mindset. I guess to adequately progress, you have to really understand your mistakes, I think.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So I guess I could try to tell you how to foster an environment of negative feedback in a positive way, right? If that even makes sense. But I haven't figured that out. Also, that's why this show is called Progression and Progress, right? But I guess we've identified at least something. I mean, the whole part of this idea, right, or the whole idea where this is coming from, part of it was not a long time ago, just a few months ago, I sent Sam this clip of Elon Musk talking at something, I don't know, giving like a keynote speech or something. And the short clip, it was about how, I think Musk was talking about how negative feedback or positive feedback loops are so terrible. Right. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happening in these situations at school or these low stake environments. It's like no one wants to be mean enough to be negative. They just kind of want things to go smoothly. They want to be friendly, which is not a bad thing. Being friendly and wanting things to go smoothly, that's not a bad thing. Yeah. And maybe this is just a problem of low stakes environments. And maybe when it comes time, when there's money on the line, when there's not just like, there's positive consequences, there's things on the line, there's positive things that can happen in these situations, but there's not very many negative things that can happen, terrible negative things that can happen, right? In some of these situations, with varying degrees, I guess. But I guess that really is crucial and something I need to think about more, crucial to the progression and progress mindset that you got to try your best. And I don't think I can offer any advice on how to do it, but you got to try your best to not get in a positive feedback loop. Mm-hmm. I mean, like Sam said, I think Sam said it perfectly that, you got to have some positive feedback. You can't just be destroyed all day long. Right. But at some point, someone's got to tell you if you're doing a bad job, or at least you got to, I think but the best way is for you to receive positive feedback, but then internally you realize you're doing something wrong. But a lot of times that has to stem from something external.
And be careful of that too, though, because that's also where like imposter syndrome kind of starts coming out, where, people are giving you like genuine praise for things. And then you're just like, oh, well, I'm not actually that way. Or like, these are all the little bad things that are wrong that most people probably don't even know or care about. So it's definitely a fine line. And kind of depends on what you're doing. But in general, if you can get that constructive criticism that will, actually improve your game at whatever you're doing, that's where really what we're striving for, I'd say. Yeah.
And I think I guess, I don't know if this is really advice, but the one important thing, or not important, I guess just one thing I would say is I think close friends can really family and close friends can really come into play here. Mm-hmm. I feel like your family is, well, obviously it's very, very, very different in every situation. But ideally your family would be equipped to give you positive and negative feedback in a way that allows you to grow. And then also, I mean, if that's not an option in every family, I think that's where friends can come in too. That's one of the reasons why I talked to Sam about this kind of stuff, because Sam and I have been, I think one of the great things of knowing Sam so long, and one of the reasons I love talking with Sam so much, is because a lot of times he'll give it to me straight. Sam's not a mean guy; he's a very nice guy. But I trust Sam enough that if I say something stupid, he's going to tell me that I say something stupid. I hope you are, Sam. At least you hope you are.
You don't know. Maybe I'm just giving you a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, and I could have been so much better. Dang it. Well, I guess we'll have to analyze that another time, but we've hit our limit. Sam's got to go. We got to get going. So thank you so much for listening to another episode of Progression of Progress. As always, make sure to follow us on social media at Talk Progression on Instagram. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting apps so you're notified when we go live. We've been slacking on the social media game. I'm going to be trying to get back on that grind. Also, leave a review, share it with a friend.
5 stars.
5-star, baby. Check out our YouTube. I'm going to try to start posting more stuff there. That's about it. Anything I missed, Tim?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much
for listening.
You guys are champions. Yeah. Peace out. Bye.